Hey guys, I'm Bill Torgerson, your RC 2001 instructor. This is your welcome to the course video. I'm going to work through this script over here on the left. This is our As You Learn page. It says section 185. If you look over at my courses, I actually have section 185 and 189. And I've taken all of the 189 students and brought them in to 185. So we've got 44 students in this 185 section. That might be why you think you're in 189, but you're working in 185. Back to my script. So this class is asynchronous. We will never meet at the same time online. All of your assignments are due at 11:59 on the day they are due. So if I go back to our course page and I scroll down, here are when some of the assignments are due. Those are all due on that day at 11:59 p.m. If you ever come across one that's due at like midnight, in other words, 12:01 a.m. early in the morning of that day, or some other time, that means I probably, when I was doing all the clicking to create that assignment, I forgot. You can drop me an email and say, hey, Torg, I think this is supposed to be due at 11:59, and I'll make the change. That usually happens once a semester. So the big news is you have an assignment due on the first day of class. This thing over here we're calling an avatar. I have you reading a little bit about avatars on some things I wrote, but right here is that assignment. So if all of your assignments work this way. So if I click there on a new window, I get really detailed directions of how to complete the assignment, plus how I'm grading it. And then you would submit your assignment. You'll click on that, and then you would be able to add a discussion. This happens to be a forum assignment. And so that'll work that way the whole semester. So this, the only thing that'll look different on this page will be there'll be a welcome video that I'm recording right now, so it's not there. I write you an announcement every week to tell you a little bit about what we're doing. My office hours vary. My other classes are hybrid, and we don't. So, it alternates when we meet. So I adjust my office hours a little bit depending on when my hybrid classes are meeting. So I'll write you an email on Sunday nights and tell you when office hours are. Here's our syllabus. I'll highlight a few things there. Clicking to a portfolio. You're all making a portfolio, and then writing center and a digital textbook. Oh yeah, let me show you how these things, so these can open and close, and that might help you not, right? I can look at that and have a little more room, and I can toggle that open. Our textbook kind of works like that as well. You don't have to buy any textbook. We're only going to use this right here, or I supply you with a scanned PDF. So if you have an assignment to read something that's not in the textbook, when you click on those directions, you'll get linked to a PDF that you can download and print, or you can just read, off your iPad or your computer. I will communicate almost solely by email. So make sure you're checking your email. I think you get an email when I put out an announcement. You should be checking that about once a day, maybe not the weekends. A couple things on the syllabus here I want to point out. I'm going to show you one belief I have about writing, one tip I have for the class. I hope that will entice you into looking at more of this. So if I scroll down, my first belief about writing, I actually have more than 8, but that's what I'm sharing with you. Everyone can learn to write more effectively. Some ways to do this are through reading and writing a lot, and by practicing in some of the ways you'd practice an instrument or a sport. So sometimes I'll run into a student who says, I stink at writing. Writing's not my thing, but they actually don't engage in the act very often. It's like me saying I stink at the trumpet. I don't know if I've ever even touched a trumpet, at least for 20 years. So of course I'm not great at playing the trumpet. So I think a couple things. One, just getting some regular reading and writing in will help. And then I think you'll have a lot of choice about what you read and write about. And I think that might make you a little more excited to do the work. So I've got some more things I believe about writing right there. And then tips for the class. I hope you'll check those out. I'll give you one. Don't glance at messages from me on your phone. It seems like lots of students tend to forget to come back to those messages. So if I'm out at the town park walking my dog and I check my email and you email me and you're like, Torg, I turned in that September assignment late. Will you look at it? If I were to do something like that, I would never remember that I have to go look at that assignment for you. So I don't look at my email at App State unless I'm sitting here at my desktop, maybe with a notepad, which I keep on my iPad. You know, I'm ready to work on school stuff when I'm here. So that's just one of my 6 suggestions. What do I mean, a port? So I haven't logged in here. I'm probably going to have to log in. It's okay if you've never used the A-port system. The rest of the world would call them E-ports for electronic portfolios. Actually, this worked. So you'll make something that looks like this. You know, the last thing you'll write in this class is a reflective letter. The assignments will change. You actually will write an about me. So you'll be doing you'll be making something like this. You'll get lots of directions on how to do that later. So that was a quick word on A-ports. Real quick. So lots of Google Docs. You're going to have, so one, let's say that I need to go to Docs. So I go to my email. There's a couple ways you can get there. I click on this tic-tac-toe looking board. I go to Drive, even though there are other ways. And then I go to New, and I could go New Doc, New Slide, and so forth. Let's come back to this Google Doc. You just can't forget to share. And so I can share this with somebody to look at, to comment, to edit. A lot of times comment will be what you pick. And then I copy that link right there and I paste that. And that's what I turn in a lot onto As You Learn. So that was a super short Google Doc tutorial. And then love hearing from you. Don't hesitate to email me. I usually email you back by the end of the next day. So there's my email. Reach out if you have questions. It's one of my favorite parts of the job, is just being in touch with you, talking to you about your ideas and what you're working on. I'm really looking forward to the semester. Hope you are. Let's have a great semester.